Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're trying out the GT3 series for the first time out on iRacing. I'm driving the McLaren in what appears to be a sea of roughs, but I knew that was going to be the case before we even joined the server, because it seems like the McLaren is not really at the right state right now, but it's still good enough to drive for me. And with some setup changes, it's actually pretty fast. The cars actually seem pretty equal. So, yeah. First ever race in the GT3 series for me. It's actually Super Bowl Sunday. The game is actually going on right now, but I don't care about the NFL or the Super Bowl at all, so I figured with iRacing's site being so up and down lately, I figured now would definitely be a safe time to try and get a race in, since I figure most Americans will not be on the service right now. So yeah, I've tested the car a lot this week, actually. You can actually make it quite stable, I found. There seems to be some issues with the car going over curbs where it's a bit like the roof, but even worse, where it just bounces a lot. The dampers seem to be a bit of a problem in this car. But you can make it so the suspension is actually stiff enough to handle the curbs and whatnot. You can actually attack the curbs pretty well with the right setup. It feels a bit different from when I drove it when the McLaren was part of the Grand Am series, though, but it still feels really good regardless of the curb situation. It's still very much drivable. You just gotta work on the setup a bit. So yeah. And I love that we can do this now to get these tires nice and heated up. So yeah, Road Atlanta. We've seen this track before, but not really one of my better tracks, although I think it's really fun still. Like I said, I've loved the S section here. The downhill S section, so much fun. And you got great opportunities for drafting on this back straightaway here.
Get ready.
So anyway, here we go.
Alright. Alright, man. Pace cars in. Green, green, green.
Didn't qualify, so I might be stuck mid-pack for a while, actually. And there's a wreck right in front of me.
On your right. All clear, all clear. Go left.
Oh god, I don't know where anybody is, so
I'm back on the track on the left.
yeah, I thought somebody was off the track to the left of me. Turns out I was right. Oh man. Oh, these curbs are so bumpy. Especially when the tires are cold like that. Like I said, I didn't qualify. We're probably going to be stuck behind some slower, rough drivers for a while. That should mean more entertainment for you guys, though, because we'll see how we can get through the traffic here. I mean, we got a 30-minute race ahead of us, so we don't have a ton of time to work with. Good thing my ABS is all the way up, because I braked pretty late compared to these guys right in front of me. Turn 1 at speed has been the worst corner for me all week. spinning out under braking, not from hitting the curbs or anything, I just spinning out under braking. Oh boy. Oh boy. We got a whole gaggle of cars right in front of us that are slowing each other down. Let's see where these guys brake. Real early braking from these guys, so I got to be real careful. I don't think I'm going to be able to draft past these guys on this lap anyway. Again, gonna have to brake real early. Not really in a position to try and pass right now. This has been another corner I struggled at. Well, not really a corner, but at the top of the hill. Really easy to over-rev the car and actually lose control. Oh, don't want to go off track. These curbs, especially in the S's though, but all the curbs at this track are just so tricky to stay in control of the car. Oh, we got a wreck right in front of us. Oh man. We're really thinning out the herd here. Okay, we should get a good run on this 23 car here.
Sorry, Ben, I wasn't trying to block you there.
Still there.
That's never good. Looks like we got the position on this 23. He's gonna let us have it.
Right.
Oh, that curb has been so tricky right before the start-finish line. That last turn has been very tricky. In fact, I was having the most trouble there when we started, and I was having literally no control over the curbs. Two things that helped me in the setup to control the car over the curbs. One is the rear camber. Rear camber has to go way, way up from the baseline. Mine is up to about 2.5 degrees.
Stop moving, dude.
The other thing is the differential preload. That also has to go way, way up. Just to get a real feel for the car in the middle of the corner. Because otherwise, it just feels way too loose through the center of the corner. Those two things will really, really help with the stability of the car overall. And it seems like a lot of people haven't figured that out, because a lot of people are avoiding that. Well, I'm sure the rough being new and all doesn't help with that. But I want to be a little different. And I'm sure I'm not the only one running the McLaren just for the sake of
You're good, you're good. You're good,
not running the roof, but you can. The car, it really is equal to the rough right now. iRacing actually did a really good job with the balance of power on these two cars. Obviously, the car needs a bit of work with this current tire model, but it still actually feels really good once you get the setup down right. See if we can make up some time on these guys. I actually, in practice, on a full fuel load, was doing lap times as low as an 18.8. And trust me, I am not that good. But I love the idea of GT3 racing, though. I don't really get to see it much, though, in real life. I can watch it on, like, maybe like Speed 2 or something like that. Which, if you don't know, is basically the streaming service that you get with your cable for if you had Speed, which is now, of course, Fox Sports 1 in the USA. But anyway, there are, like, Blancpain, I believe, GT3 races on that I sometimes watch and see these cars running. Well, not the Roof. Well, the Roof would be a Porsche, obviously, but yeah, I mean, with the pro amateur setup, there's some really good racing in GT3 classes. I wish it was more popular in North America, but can't have everything. Can't have everything. Also running about medium-ish downforce on the wing, anyway. I think my wing setting is actually a 5, so that's like right in the middle as far as the downforce goes on the wing.
Got a slow car up ahead.
Uh-oh. Oh my god. I really thought I was going to crash into him. I had no idea where that car was going, and that because it's a slightly blind uphill right where it happened. So, like you saw, I really only saw the smoke there. I really thought I was gonna hit him for a second there. But yeah, this is far from the first time that I've actually driven the McLaren. I think I actually won like 4 or 5 races in a row with this car when it was in the Grand Am series at Laguna Seca a few seasons ago. I love the car though, it's so stable. Especially when you get it right. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, now I remember. The only thing I never really liked about it was like the push it gets when you first enter a corner. It feels like the front end doesn't want to really turn in. Same problem I have with the IndyCar on the road courses, which is why I rarely race that car. I really hate the way both the IndyCar and this car feel when you enter a corner on a road course. The front end just does not want to grip. But it feels so stable though. Especially coming out of corners. The problem is usually in the center of the corners, but you can edit that out with the setup options. But yeah, I love the idea of this series. Short races, but with a B-class license required to get in. With some really fun to drive cars, actually, that aren't completely difficult. iRacing has definitely needed something like this on the roadside for a good long time now. Let's see if we can get down closer to the 18s like I was doing in practice. And with the right setup, you can just run through this section full throttle, just like the roof. And you can see I'm pretty much attacking the curbs, just like I would in the roof. No biggie. Oh. Did not mean to get on that curb there. Well, rather on the grass. But yeah, the field is really spaced out now. Looks like it's gonna take a while to catch up to this 8 machine. If I can even catch him at all. That was a really bad corner for me, by the way. Got on the brakes way too late, had to really stand on it. Use that ABS. Seems like a few people now have commented on my driving style, and that they say that I turn into the corner too early now. Which would obviously help me hit the apex, but it totally kills your exit speed. So I've been a bit hypersensitive to it lately. I've been trying my best to work on that, like right here. Normally I would like cut that corner a little early. I would start moving to the right a bit early, but this time I kept it mostly straight and worked out pretty well. I think that's the way I need to do it, and I think those guys were definitely right. But I never really realized I was cutting the apex like that before. So that's, you know, something I just gotta work on. There we go, that's a pretty good lap. Like right here, normally I would start turning in, like right where that the dark gray area becomes like a lighter gray. But it turns out you can actually stay on the left side for a bit longer than I would think. And usually I used to just turn in at turn 1 really early because, well, mostly because of the fear of hitting the grass there. But you know what, I've practiced it a lot this week, and it seems like you can keep it mostly straight at times. Until you get well past the transition where that asphalt becomes lighter, so definitely been working on that. Seems to be better for me. I turned in way too late there. I was pretty much all the way down on the brakes. And the ABS was hurting my turn in there a bit.
Right. Thank you, Louise. You're blinking, buddy.
Uh-oh. Still can't touch that that small curb on the outside as you turn in from that, the first right turn where you're really, like, gaining speed. And I am really attacking this gearbox. It seems like there's a bug where if you hit the downshift too fast, that it will actually go into neutral for a bit, and you have to actually hit the clutch to get out of it, apparently. But I don't really shift fast enough for that to be a problem. You'll see, like, I don't shift nearly that fast. It's usually like a very slow, gradual downshift in these cars.
What side you on there?
So, in both the rough and the, whoa. Yeah, I saw the yellow flag there and didn't see where he was, and I thought I was gonna run into another car there. Looks like the 8 car's running into some traffic. Again, I started turning in too early there. And like I said, now I'm hypersensitive to my exact line because of what it seems like most people are telling me. See how much time is left. Oh, we're more than halfway through the race already. And I'm just not putting down the laps that I could in practice. And now I'm going to get slowed up by the lappers. Man, this guy should not be on the track. Way too much damage.
Keep left. All clear, all clear.
On that note, I noticed,
Car on the track, car on the track.
I noticed
Your left.
the,
Go ahead.
the damage model has been, improved. It seems like, a lot more,
on your right.
there's a lot more,
Still there. All clear, all
light
clear.
damage from minor contact, and bigger hits will
We have a car
bigger
down the
hits
road.
will reflect larger contact. Another thing I noticed with the new build, you know how the cars will sometimes, like, if you have like a really hard hit, the cars will sometimes have the wheels like sticking through the the windows and the bodywork and whatnot. Not anymore. That is now a thing of the past. Now all the wheels will stay well in place. There will not, I repeat, there will not be any more suspension work and wheels sticking through rear windows and bodywork, so there you go. Which was kind of funny, actually, but come on, it's completely unrealistic. And we should strive for realism on iRacing. So that definitely had to go.
Left, left, left.
Uh-oh, the number 14 was in 3rd place and had a problem, apparently. Yeah, it looks like he is damaged.
Thanks, Dave.
So we're gonna get another spot out of that. Let's see, how much time do we have left? 8 minutes, 8 laps of fuel. I think we're good on that front. In the forums, they actually said 20 gallons was the intended amount. But it definitely seems like you don't need that much fuel to go to the end in these short races. So I took a little bit less, about 18.5 gallons. So we'll see how that works. I'm sure we have enough to get to the end.
Pass right, pass right, pass right. GT on.
That guy completely killed my momentum.
All clear, all clear.
Totally fucked me over. Now I'm just...
5 laps of fuel enough. I'm a noob, first race.
Now I'm even further behind. I mean, I was already losing time.
I don't know.
I was already down to like
These
5 and
races make it at 18.5.
Oh, shut up. These guys have been talking all race. Fucking annoying. Can't even hear what I'm saying. I mean, I was already losing time. I was about 5.5, 6 seconds behind already. But you don't need... The last thing I needed was that guy to just completely kill my momentum coming to the front stretch. I had to really check up to avoid hitting him too. Man, we're almost up to the top 5. Oh, got another disabled Porsche, I guess. Yeah, I actually was not very well prepared for this race. I actually took a short nap before for this race, and I still feel a bit groggy. But I mean, for my first ever GT3 race, I mean, obviously I'm not new to the McLaren, because I, like I said before, I ran the car a bunch in Grand Am and some of the special events it was in last year, but I'm not quite used to the heads-up format in cars this fast. So, I mean, for my first race in the series, I think
You have about 5 laps left on
moving up 11 spots is actually pretty good. Even though a lot of them were just wrecked cars or cars going off track. I think we passed like 6 cars in the first lap alone. And I hate to say it, but this is on a whole new level compared to the Mustang Challenge. This series is so much harder to win, with it being that much more popular and just that many more competitive drivers. Uh-oh.
You Got a slow car on the right.
Very slow car. How much time left? 3 minutes. Don't know why the caution is out. There it is. I think I have a bit too much ABS in the car, but
Oh man, we got one stopped up
no
ahead.
point in changing it now.
Got a slow car on the left.
The only reason the ABS is so high is because of turn 1 where I kept just spinning out under braking. I wasn't even touching the grass or anything, just poor luck, I guess, with the braking. Maybe I was just hitting the brakes too hard or something. But I had to turn the ABS way up, or otherwise I would have... If I didn't, I would have spun out by like lap 5 under braking at turn 1. We got two completely white Porsches that are a lap down, and they're not playing very nicely right now. Oh, now he moves out of the way.
Clear on the right.
We should be getting the white flag next time
We
by...
have a car stopped on the left.
Oh, Jesus, there's like so many people just spinning out. Pretty stressful for a short race, actually. This guy in front of me appears to have no right front fender.
Car on your left. All clear, all clear.
Didn't want to make that move, but he broke way too early there. I kind of had no choice but to make that move. As we see another slow Porsche. Should be the white flag this time. There it is. Let's see if we can do an 18. Because my laps have been really, actually, pretty slow in this race.
We have about 2 laps of fuel left.
Looks like the fuel calculations are just right. 18.5 gallons is the way to go. And turned in too early again. Gonna get a nice draft off this fellow McLaren in front of me. So maybe we'll get a little closer to an 18-second lap. Oh, 1 minute 18-second lap, of course. Yeah, I mean, 6th place, I mean, I'm not totally happy with that. Especially considering I am car number 3, but
Go left.
take what I can get. It's not a terrible result, but I think I could have done a little bit better, especially if I qualified, but I didn't, so that's that. And nowhere near an 18, but yep,
There's the checker.
like he said, that's the checkered, that's a race.
Great job, driver.
Thank you guys for watching. I definitely like running this series. A bit chaotic, but still plenty of fun. So, next week is Bathurst, and I'm definitely gonna do that. I gotta finish a race at Bathurst, and I definitely gotta prepare for the Road Warriors series race at Bathurst, which is the week after, so, more track time, doesn't really matter which car. but more track time is definitely going to be a necessity. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.